Florida. This is where we're going to start a small driving tour through Hemet. We're kind of on the west end of Hemet, and we will be going east. This is the Winco parking lot. There's at least 2 Stater Brothers, I think maybe 3. 1 Winco's, 1 Super Walmart, a couple of small mom and pop type grocery stores. There is an Aldi kind of over towards San Jacinto, but that's about the only grocery stores I can think of out here. And it's 7:30 in the morning, so there's not a whole lot of activity out here yet. A lot of people sleep in the cars out here. Chase over there. This is Sizzler. The city is full of banks and restaurants. Another car. Population out here has grown in 2023. I don't remember the exact number, but it's well over 90,000. And I don't think that includes its, what I'll say, sister city of San Jacinto. But Hemet itself is over 90,000. If you head out that direction where in those hills, you run into Lake Paris. If you go straight ahead, you'll run into the city of Paris, about 15, 18 miles. And that's where you'll find, remember the Turpin family with the 13 kids? They kept them chained up in the house, stuff like that. Well, it's about 18 miles over. I know the parents are in jail. The kids are put in foster children once they were caught, but this went on for years and years. And they lived in the city of Paris. My brother lived about a block over, and I would actually have to pass their house to get to his house, but never saw anybody. Always saw the cars there, the white vans, stuff like that. But fortunately, they were eventually caught. They used to chain the kids up to the cabinets or bed frames, stuff like that, and one of the worst stories I've ever heard. Anyways, right in front of us, mobile home park, probably about $1,000 a month. The last time I was in there, it was $750, $900. That was a couple years ago. It's more of an RV park. I shouldn't say RV, but more of a resort. They even got a little fishing lake in there. You can't eat them or anything, you have to throw them back, but for $1,000 a month, I can't afford that, and the payment on the mobile home. But Hemet is full of mobile home parks. Cheaper ones are about $500, but they are definitely super old parks, super old mobile homes. But they are out there. Then you got a couple of the resort parks, usually a minimum $750 a month. I think a lot of them have gone up to $1,000, $1,200. But I would have to check on that. All right, so we're on Florida. We're heading east. It's a cloudy morning on November 2024. But there's some mountains out there in front of us. If you were to take this road, Highway 74, which is Florida, you would run into Idlewild up in the forest up there. Pretty neat place. You drive up into the mountains, and it's about 5 miles off the highway here, but once you get up there. But yeah, stay on this road and it'll pretty much take you right to Idlewild. And if you stayed on this road again and went further, you go across the top of the mountain and it drops you down into what's that, Palm Desert over by Palm Springs. Great ride on a motorcycle. There's a Home Depot here on the left. A lot of little fast foods in there. You got the Wendy's, Taco Bell, Carl's Jr., Wiener Schnitzel, Del Taco, Hemet Burger Grill, Cane's, Stater Brothers on the right, Arby's, Panera, Popeyes, everybody's favorite up here, In-N-Out Burger, KFC, El Pollo Loco, Big Five, Denny's, of course. Like I said, this place is loaded with restaurants and banks. Now this is interesting. You got Gibble Park here on the left. I moved the phone, I'll never get it back up. I'm always full of flags. I'm gonna pull it off anyways. Always full of flags here. It's a pretty nice park. This is the second park that's pretty nice. So, honoring Veterans Day, they actually got a little memorial in there. There's a Chipotle and Chuck E. Cheese and Sprouts and everything over there. But over on this side, well, you got Panda for one. But this is the Hemet Valley Mall. If you look way down there, you'll see it still says Sears, but they haven't been in there in years. The only big stores really left here is Hobby Lobby and J.C. Penney's. I take a walk in, but they don't open the doors until about 10. Alright, I'll turn it off while I'm sitting here at the intersection. Alright, pulling into the Hemet Valley Mall in Florida. I think it's Florida and Kirby here. Hobby Lobby. Everything's still closed. Like I said, it's pretty early. You got AT&T, Starbucks. It wasn't a very good shot. Hemet Mall. It's actually a really good place to eat over there. It's called Polly Pies. 10, 15 bucks, but really good meals, really good breakfast. Chili's over there on the corner. Here's your J.C. Penney's. You got Burger King over there in that corner. J.C. Penney's again. Here's the old Sears building. It's been vacant for years. And this is one of the most common bus stops for Riverside Transit Agency. Most of the shuttles and the full-size buses come right here to the mall. Take you out to the city of Riverside, Temecula, Saboba Casino, which Saboba Casino has gotten huge. They rebuilt it, put in a huge hotel, swimming pools. The old one was kind of small, low roofs, but Saboba has really gotten well, they're up there to compete now, so they're doing good. All right. By the way, there's a mobile home park over there. I don't remember what their rent was. Seemed like they were a little bit pricey. So, all right, I'm going to turn it on for a couple of minutes. We'll get back on Florida. All right, right across from the mall, you got a Red Robin. $10 burgers. Used to be the Pep Boys. We still have a Pep Boys service, automotive service, just not the store part. There's the mall. We'll head back to Florida. Familiar with this signal, and that takes it a while, so I'll kill the camera while we're sitting here. Alright, back in Florida. It's an Angie's Diner over on the left. They're actually really good. Not too expensive, but they are good. We're still heading east on Florida, also known as Highway 74. Another small mobile home park. One on the other side as well. It's a lot of little hotels, motels in Hemet. Surprises me how expensive they are. Like $90 a night just for the worst hotel. Right here, literally right here, is where two people got shot a couple weeks back. A kid on a bicycle came up, got in an argument with two Hispanics walking down the road, shot one of them. He falls to the ground. The second one attacks the kid on the bike, shoots the second guy, but he ends up getting away. Here is Walmart, the food center on Florida. This is not a super Walmart, basically just the grocery store. Take a drive through the parking lot here. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning, so probably not a lot of activity. But about 2 weeks ago, there was a fight that took place just inside the doors right here, and they get 5 to 7 feet outside of the doors. The guy pulls out a gun, shoots him dead. That's been the last couple of weeks. They have a Airtopia Adventure Park on the right. It's kind of new. Seemed to get a lot of attention, a lot of kids. Looks pretty fun. I think they have all the trampolines and stuff in there. I am never getting out of this parking lot. You know what? I'll go to the right. Maybe I got a chance. It is a nice day for a ride. We don't get too many cool days out here. All right, coming back to Florida. I'm going to pull the camera off here. If you can see it, there it is. That's a Hemet Museum. They also have a deli in there. It used to be a railroad car type place. And this is right at Florida and State Street. Never been in there, but lived here for 17 years. One day I'll stop in and have a sandwich and visit the museum. All right, we're still in Florida. We just passed State Street. Thought I'd show you this Chappie's Bar. There's been 2 shootings here over the last couple of months. Not that the bar is rowdy, but there was one guy that walked out. It was reported from the bar that he had a gun on his waist and he was drunk. He walked across the street here, and right there, sits down, leans against that wall. Cops came up, shot him 18 times. Nobody really saw the gun, I guess, but he did have an air pistol gun on him. They said he was reaching for it. Really don't know the truth. And there was a second one. I don't know if he was actually in Chappie's or in front of Chappie's, but there was a second shooting here as well. I'll tell you, this is the block I need to stay out of, I guess. But there's your RTA buses out here. You also have the shuttles. This one goes to the city of Paris. I can't remember how often it runs. I spent 15 years driving them. So, all right, let's get back on the road. And we're just past State Street in Florida, but I forgot to mention down State Street a few months ago, there was a guy walking down the street on the sidewalk with a gun shooting at oncoming cars. Finishes the clip, throws a clip up in the air behind him, slaps in a new clip, starts shooting at cars again. He killed a father of 4. That was about that. Technically, that was San Jacinto, but that was still only maybe a mile down the road on State Street. So I'll try and attach some videos and stuff at the end. Utility department on the right. Yep, I gotta pull this off. One of the smallest parks in Hemet. Weston Park. Used to be 30, 40 homeless that would live in here. I think I've heard that Hemet PD has been kicking them out in the nights. I'm not sure what those kids are up to. They looked a little suspicious when they saw the car coming. But not a bad park. Just expect, homeless, but I've never been in this park where I've been bothered before. Parallel. I should have turned there, I guess, but running parallel to Florida. Let's see if I can find my way back where there's signals. It's almost impossible to cross Florida Street unless you have a signal. Florida. Florida is kind of the main drag here. We're coming up on San Jacinto Street. If you make a left, you'll hit San Jacinto, Saboba, Casino, San Jacinto's Super Walmart. I like Hemet a little bit better than San Jacinto, although they're closer to the hills. On the left side, they do have a Planet Fitness. I used to love that place. It used to not be crowded, but they shut down another gym and everybody piled over to here, so it's always busy. There's also a grocery outlet there. Another HCN bank. Used to be the Bank of Hemet. Look, you can almost see the hills up there. Really nice drive to stay on this road and start hitting the little windy canyon. It goes up to the top of the mountains up there. You get halfway across the top of the mountains, make a right, you go to Anza. There's a little casino up there called Coachella. Been doing road constructions on these roads for the last 2 or 3 years. We're at the east end of Hemet. Further, there's a little subsection of Hemet called Val Vista. I hear a little bit of crime happening out there, but every time I drive through, there's nice houses and peaceful and quiet. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that doesn't hit the news out here. You can see the bottom of the mountains there now. Yeah, another Stater Brothers. Hey, Buffalo Jack's. Gotta try that place. Meridian Street. Really makes sense to keep going at all. It's basically the same thing, and then all of a sudden it's mostly fields. But we're pretty much at the edge of Hemet, the east edge. So I think we'll turn here. We'll take Stetson Street back. So we're heading south now. Further out, it hit a lot of open land with a lot of orchards, mostly orange trees. There's a hell of a dip. Excuse my language. The name of the street they were actually on is called Hemet. It's not a huge street, it's just kind of a side street to get from north to south, or south to north. Another huge dip. This hill, can't remember what they call it, but there's hiking trails up there, small little park where you can have lunch or something. So it takes a little while to drive up there, but it's kind of neat. The one time I went up, there was a deer that came across. All right, I'm going to turn on Whittier because I don't think the road goes too much further up there. So we're now heading east on Whittier. These are some of the better houses. No idea what they're running. I'm going to guess $350, $450 for the nicer ones. My house is fair, smaller house, and Zillow puts it at like $317 or something like that. I don't think I'd ever get $317 unless I get some repairs done, but as high as these prices are on these houses, they're still some of the cheaper homes to buy in Southern California. Although there might be a reason for that. Hemet has been rated one of the highest crime rates in the state of California. The one that does keep popping up is San Bernardino. I've been in Hemet for 17 years. Seen a lot of stuff when I'm away from the house, but at the house it's not too bad. I think my car was broken into once about 10 years ago, but the house itself, of course I keep a big dog there and cameras, but it's pretty much been left untouched. Almost hate to say that. I don't want to jeopardize anything. Jeopardize my luck. Alright, like I said, we're on Whittier. But I'm going to make a left turn somewhere and see if we can get to Stetson. See the signal up there for Stetson. Music on, but every time I have music, YouTube rejects the video. It's copyright because certain songs I play. Alright, here's Stetson. A couple lights up, but we're heading west now, and we should be heading towards State Street, which I think is like 3 lights. Disappointed on this video today. There's just not a whole lot of activity going on, but I guess that's a good thing. All right, I think we're stuck, so I'm gonna turn the camera off for a minute. Still on Stetson, just crossing over San Jacinto, still heading west. Traffic died down a little bit, so that was good. A couple of minutes I'll be turning into another Stater Brothers parking lot. It's at the corner of State and Stetson. I wanted to show you a little spot in there where a few weeks ago there was another shooting that took place. A couple more signals. Stater Brothers at State and Stetson. That's usually where I do my shopping. Normally it's pretty good in there. Good employees, good store. But stuff happens all over. A few weeks ago, right here in front of this Deal Buster, I'm not sure of the details, but I know somebody was shot right out here on the front. A couple of these cars here were shot. Yeah. See that dog? Alright, back up to Stetson. When we get up here, this is State Street. We're going to cross over State. Right before a AAA building, which actually caught part of this on camera, there was a homeless lady. She spent years out here. She was pretty known. She'd get out on the sidewalk with a broom and sweep up the broom, or the sidewalk with a broom and stuff, and pretty mellow, keeps to herself. But about a year ago, she was raped in this field up here and then murdered by some teenagers on bicycles. And I realized she was homeless, but that was still a human life. That was sad, because I'd see her almost every day out there sweeping the sidewalk and stuff like that. Anyways, I think that's going to pretty much do it for our trip through Hemet. We kind of covered Florida and then crossed over to Stetson and doubled back. So a lot of apartments, a lot of mobile homes on their own property, a lot of mobile home parks. Used to be a senior citizen community, but it's kind of moved away from that. And, well, you still have a lot of seniors out here, but crime rate has really gone up. These are the mobiles on their own lots again, where you own a lot. But I think that's happened almost all over. Riverside used to be a pretty nice place, but boy, that's even worse than Hemet now. A lot of crime, and so it's not like the old days, I guess. But alright, yeah, this goes on for about a half mile, with mobiles on their own lot. And I think we'll call it a day for now. Alright, we're on Sanderson. We're coming up to Stetson. We're going to pull into Super Walmart. Again, Sanderson and Stetson. Not my favorite place in the world, but if I got to go to Walmart, I usually end up over in San Jacinto Super Walmart. Some grouchy employees over here. Some really good employees too, but I got yelled at about 6 months ago because I took a bar of soap out of the cosmetic department, and I was gonna grab a couple other things, go up to the register, and she yells at me, "Hey, you can't take that soap out of here. You have to pay for that here in cosmetics." And I just set the soap down, walked away. They do have this Bronson security patrol out here. Never really seen any issues with them. They always seem polite, so well, I'm just glad their presence is out here. All right, that's the Hemet Super Walmart, State and Stetson. It's not even 7:30 in the morning yet, so not a whole lot of activity. One of these days I'm going to go back in and yell at that lady. Nah, I wouldn't do that. She just seemed to come across as like she's a federal correctional officer in there, and I'm an inmate. But I'm sure she's just doing her job. She just could have done it a little bit better. Another hour from now, this parking will be atrocious out here. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off for a minute here, and then we're gonna head to Sanderson. Alright, we're on Sanderson. Crossed over Stetson. We're gonna be heading up to Florida. Look off to the right, see a place that takes a lot of my money, and no, it's not a casino, it's Lowe's. Pretty decent store. I don't think we're going to head to Florida yet. I'm going to make a left on Acacia. I know, I'll try to hold the phone at the same time here. I'll turn it back on in a minute. I'm going to get out and show you Mary Henley Park. It's on Kirby Street at Johnston. A lot of little picnic grounds. Gets pretty busy on weekends. Got playgrounds over there for the kids. Basketball courts over there. Can't really see it. Got another playground over there. It's actually a little fitness center over there for the adults too. And if you were to walk, that's Johnston Street, there's a sidewalk over there, walk all the ways around the park, complete circle, it would be 0.6 miles. So a little over a half a mile all the ways around. Everybody walks their dogs out here, or they just come out to exercise, and pretty good park. It's one of the two better parks in Hemet. A street called Johnston, a couple of blocks north of Stetson Street. Thought I'd show you some of these mobile homes out here. A lot of mobile homes in Hemet, a lot of mobile homes and parks. But these particular mobile homes are all on their own lots. It is a 55 plus HOAs, but most of the prices seem to be, well, there's one for sale right there, seem to be around 180 up to 280 depending on how old the home is and location maybe. State Street in Latham. It's about 7 o'clock Friday morning, mid-November. Traffic's starting to pick up, people going to work. That's our cheapest gas station in town, $3.69 a gallon. Straight ahead up there, we have the library. And yeah, sale, that's what that's called. Latham Street. My phone's not doing real well this morning, but we're on Latham Street. This is the library. Nice library. I think they have those antique things in there, stacks of papers, what they call books, but not a bad library. It's actually where we did our voting. Hemet Police Department. They definitely get very busy sometimes. This is Acacia Street, coming up on State Street. This is where our post office is. Gets a little busy, but they're not a bad post office, so pretty friendly people in there. Back up to State Street. We're gonna make a left, and we'll be heading south. I'd take a picture of this in here. That's why a lot of people stay in Hemet. Even though I've been in here a few times. If I can hold the phone. High-end liquor. Yay! Pretty friendly owner. Used to have wine tasting. I don't know if he still does or not, but anyways, good place to come. About a year ago, one of these houses right here, and I can't remember which one. This is on State Street, right about the 800 South block. There was an officer that went into one of these backyards looking for a suspect. And he looked over the fence, saw somebody in his backyard. And the guy says, listen, I have a registered gun. It's in my waist or something like that. And the officer shoots him dead. So, not really sure whatever happened. I know the officer was put on administrative leave. The wife was suing the city. That's about all I know. I never heard anything after that. Out for a morning stroll.
In the video, you can hear the yelling continues, but a few seconds later, the person on the bicycle opens fire and shoots one of the two men. The other man runs up to the gunman and begins to fight, but he is also shot. Terrifying moments for everyone who witnessed it.
And then you still see, like I said, people were serving, trying to exit out the drive-thru, nervous. I'm trying to get past.
Now detectives are asking for the public's help to identify the gunman.
Meantime, as a suspect riding a bike opens fire on two men walking on the sidewalk. A warning, the video is difficult to watch. The shooting happened just after 3 o'clock today on Florida Avenue. Moments before the gunfire, the men can be seen in some kind of argument. Then, as the two men walk away, the suspect on the bicycle follows. He pulls out a gun, shoots at both men. One of them falls to the ground. The other lunges at the shooter, eventually fighting him off. Both victims were taken to the hospital. Their condition is unknown. The Hemet Police Department is now investigating.
New body camera video of a deadly police shooting in Hemet has been released. This shooting happened July 4th. The Hemet Police Department sharing the video a week after the family of Jimmy Lopez criticized the department for shooting and killing him. Lopez was sitting outside a business when officers arrived. Police claim he was reaching for a gun when officers opened fire. Turns out he was smoking an e-cigarette when he appeared to be getting up, and officers saw him reaching for the weapon. It was later discovered Lopez was carrying an airsoft gun. The officers had no way of knowing that. The family's attorney said he was shot 18 times, saying it was uncalled for. The family says they're planning to sue the city and the police department.
Innocent husband was killed by Hemet police, and now the police department is talking about this. Police were sent to the home yesterday to investigate a theft. That's where they discovered an armed
This was
man
about
in
a
the
year
yard
ago.
of his home next door. At some point during the confrontation, an officer fired on the man, killing him. Officials say the man was not connected to the initial investigation. The man's wife is telling reporters he told officers he owned a gun that was registered to him. The officer connected to the shooting is now on administrative leave. Riverside County officials will investigate whether or not the shooting was justified.
The County Sheriff's Department has released a video of a deadly confrontation with an armed man in Hemet. Look closely here. You can see the suspect carrying an assault rifle just seconds before he was shot by deputies. He later died.
I believe this was
Deputies had
8 months
responded to
ago.
a report of a family fight when they say the man fired at them from inside a home on Jepson Court. The video then shows the armed man wearing body armor outside the home. When he allegedly pointed the rifle at deputies, they opened fire. This happened in January, and no deputies were injured. The suspect killed was later identified as 33-year-old
All right, that was
Anthony
January
Ray
23,
Vicks.
24.
Shooting and killing a man outside of a bar this morning. The department says officers were called to East Florida Avenue just before 2 a.m.
Almost the
for
exact
reports
same
of a man
spot within a
walking
couple
out
of
the
hundred
bar with
yards
a gun
of
in
the
his
other
pants.
shooting on
It's
Florida
unclear
by the
exactly
bar.
what happened next, but officers opened fire, killing that man. But today we saw
Wait, that's
investigators placing
3 or 4
dozens
months
of
ago?
evidence markers. The Riverside County Sheriff, the DA's office, and the state are all investigating.
Walking down Hemet's busy Florida Avenue last Wednesday when someone riding a bicycle approaches them and takes out what appears to be a gun and opens fire. We paused the video before the men were shot.
It's scary.
11 months
was
ago.
has shot an armed suspect. It happened about 10:30 last night in Hemet.
I believe this is
A
over by the
deputy was
Winkers.
filling his patrol cruiser at a gas station near Meridian Street and Florida Avenue when
nope,
he saw
that's
a
more
suspect
west,
standing on the
or
sidewalk
east,
holding
East
a
Hemet.
handgun. Sheriff's Department says he gave the suspect commands to drop the weapon, but he continued to move the gun around. The deputy opened fire. The suspect was taken to a hospital in unknown condition. The deputy was not injured. The investigation into the incident is ongoing.
Firing on passing cars,
Gunfire while driving along State Street near 7th Street in San Jacinto. Surveillance video shows the moment this
Just
man
down the
randomly
street,
starts
Hemet,
shooting
basically.
at cars passing by. At one point, he unloads, tosses his magazine, loads
There
up
goes his
again,
clip.
and takes aim. Another angle
Adds
shows
another
him
clip.
continue to walk down
And
as he shoots at
refires.
a black truck and other cars. Witnesses then say he got undressed. At one point, it appears that he starts kicking his shoes off. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department identifying him as 39-year-old Julio Cesar Rodarte. Rodarte was arrested and booked on 1 count of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder. A motive is unclear, but the pain this has caused is immeasurable. A GoFundMe account has been set up for Victor's family to help for funeral costs.
He got really close to God.
San Jacinto at 7th and State Streets.
Which
And
is
then
right
Empire
at
Bureau
Hemet.
Chief Ron McMillan talks to a witness. New at 5.
Surveillance video showing a man armed with a semi-automatic handgun walking down State Street in San Jacinto, then indiscriminately firing at random cars on the road. After appearing to empty the clip, he tosses it, but the damage was done. Several